So, good morning. Well, it wasn't the best night's sleep that I've ever had in the bush, but by the same stretch it wasn't the worst. From the last time I spoke, I kind of slept lightly, a lot of dreaming, weirdly, some weird dreams, strange dreams. I'm not sure whether that was just because I was in a light state of sleep or whether it's because of the altitude. Either way, anyway, it's morning, let me have a look. It's about 7:30. It's taken me an age just to get the fire. Trying to find any tinder that's dry enough after all the rain last night. Really, really difficult out here. I mean, when you do get it and you dry it off, it burns that rapidly that it doesn't give your second stage of tinder the chance to catch. Bizarrely enough, even though I'm using the thinnest and thinnest of twigs. But I persisted, and I'll be honest, I used a little bit of bog roll in the end to get it to this stage. And even that took a lot of nurturing and a lot of messing about with very, very tiny sticks, trying to create air spaces in the fire, because if it's too dense it just won't take, but if it's too light then it won't take either. It has been a struggle. I expected that. I was hoping that I'd be able to do it without using a man-made accelerant, but I just couldn't do it this morning. And I'm not going to persist. Gagging for a brew. Like most people, I like my coffee or my tea in the morning, and so I'm going to get on and brew that. I'm going to sort my kit out, try and get a bit of breakfast. Got some oat flakes that I'll cook up, and some local honey that I got hold of. So I'll have some porridge and honey, and I'll talk to you later. Right, it's just turned midday, and I've now moved from that bank over there where my shelter was last night to the opposite side of the river and into this overhang here. It's a much bigger, much greater overhang, and there's plenty of room for me and my kit in there. The other thing I like is, if you look at all the shrubwood along here, it looks as though I'm above the river flood line. God, my voice is croaky today. So altogether I've crossed the river 3 times getting my kit across. Modesty being a better part of valor, I stripped naked and got in the water almost first thing this morning. I have to say, that woke me up a little bit. It was quite cold, but anyway, at least I didn't get wet. I've now got a little bit of work ahead of me to prep this area, make it comfortable, maybe level it off a little bit, get some bedding down, and hopefully we won't have any more dramas like I did last night, and I can get a decent night's sleep. So, gonna crack on. That's my main focus for today, to rehouse, top up my water supply, which is another trip down to the river, because I used all the water that I collected last night, and at some point have a brew. So that's me. I'll talk to you later. So things are looking good. I've got a charcoal bed, and it looks like I've managed to get the solo stove working. You can just see inside there. And the way I did that was really to light the fire, get a charcoal bed, put some of those charcoals into the fire pit on the solo stove, and then just add small sticks, dry sticks, and as you can see, it's cooking away, boiling up my water quite nicely, starting to bubble inside. I'm really pleased about that. Okay, it's not maybe how it normally works, but having no real good accelerant, it's easier to light a fire on the ground than it is to light a fire in the solo stove at this altitude. Fine at sea level, no problems, great bit of kit. Now I'm really chuffed, because that means that means I can get some focused heat, get some good cooking done. Breakfast, brew, happy boy. Good. I can just keep, now I've got that charcoal bed in there, I can just keep feeding that. Brilliant, love it. It's exactly what I was after. Great bit of kit. Here, look, it's starting to, there's the steam coming out the top there. Get the porridge out shortly. Yay, happy days. Breakfast in paradise. Lovely. And a brew. Coffee. Talk later. Well, it's that time in the afternoon, and yeah, the clouds are rising. I've just felt the first few drops of rain. So I've made a couple of adjustments to my shelter. Well, an adjustment. I'll put the tarp up again. Or just to narrow the profile, really. Not sure how much good it'll do. Unfortunately, the wind is coming from that direction, and I've actually got quite a big hole there. I'm trying to think of ways to minimise that. Should the rain come and the wind start blowing. So the rain is essentially coming from north to south. But the good news, on the whole, I've had the cooker on all afternoon. Well, pretty much all day, really. The little solo cooker. I found that once I've got it started, and I keep feeding it, even if it doesn't burn with a flame, it just keeps smouldering a charcoal, and it's easy then to blow back up into a flame. So I'm pleased about that. And I've got a pile of tinder there in case I want to build a fire, but also just enough to be able to feed this wee beast and keep some hot water. At the back there, the blue bag, I just picked that up a couple of hours ago down from the river. This is the soya mini filter. For me, I think it's a great bit of kit. Just go down and fill it and then put it through the filter, and I can either drink it direct from there, or I can put it into another container, or literally straight into my wee little billy pot there to go on the stove. Ever since I've got the soya, I've not used chlorine or iodine since, and it's great. The problem with chlorine and iodine is that when you're on it for a while, you get the taste, and it's the taste sometimes that stops you from drinking, unless you can disguise the taste with something like a cordial or even a detasting tablet. But this thing is fantastic, and again, it's another one of those bits of kit that is my go-to piece of kit now for that. Another good thing is I thought I brought a solar charger out so I could keep my my telephone camera running. And yesterday I thought, damn, I've left the lead for it. It turns out that actually I don't need the lead. I've got the lead. It's fine. So I'm really pleased now that I can use the solar power to charge up my phone. And indeed, the charger has been out. And it's topped itself up today, and I can output at 1 or 2 milliamps. What more do you need? Power in the field keeps you going. I suppose one regret is I didn't bring the small GoPro with me. I don't know why. I saw it, I looked at it, just didn't put it in the bag. Because it turns out that little camera is really, really good for shooting sort of wide scenes and scenes of things that you're doing. And you know, I have been not as active today as I have been, because I'm having to stay in this location for work reasons. And unfortunately, there's not a great deal going on down here. There's lots of wildlife, and there's lots of evidence of wildlife, but actually in terms of doing things bushcrafty, the grass is pretty much all dry, so I can't make any cordage right now. There is none of the trees that I might be able to use to make fire. So I'm actually quite looking forward to making a move from here and going further up the valley and exploring a bit more. I think I'm going to go for a walk down this valley and see what I can find down there. On a practical note, and I know most people won't like to hear this, but what do you do for a crap out here? And it's difficult, really. I got caught out this morning. I was halfway down there, and all of a sudden, I needed a gypsy's trot, and I had no choice but to just drop it there and just do what I needed to do. But when you're caught out without toilet paper, what do you do? Well, in my case, it was grass that came to the rescue, and I was pulling the grass out and folding it over and using it like a scrubbing brush. And then luckily I had to do a river crossing pretty much almost straight after, so I took the opportunity to clean up a little bit. But you got to acknowledge these things at the end of the day. We all do these skills in bushcraft, and we all do this stuff. Sometimes we don't talk about some of the essentials, and for me that's an essential thing to do. It's great if you've got a trowel and you can dig a hole. But I didn't have a trowel, I didn't have a hole, but I had an urgency, and that urgency had to be fulfilled by improvising and overcoming the problem. And a quick dip in the river just to finish off. Anyway, enough of that for right now. I'm going to go for a wander down the valley, see what I can find. Hopefully this will keep off, but if it doesn't, I think I'm as best prepared as I can be, and hopefully I won't get another damp night. So I'll see you later. Right, so it's water collection time. When I went out a bit earlier, I'd only gone about 100 metres and the rain came down. So I set it out for a bit, but now I've got to get some water, and the system I'm using is the Sawyer mini filter. It basically comes as a filter, a double bag, a syringe, a straw. The idea is that you fill a bag, and I've marked this on the top. This is what I call my dirty bag, and I've got another bag which I call my clean bag. Not that I actually ever use that clean bag very often. I usually drink it straight from the filter using the straw. But because I want to boil water, because I want to cook, I'm now going to collect water from this bag. I'm going to attach the filter to it, and then I'm either going to drink from it or I'm going to put it into my boiling mug to make a brew with. So, here's my water source. The river that you've mostly seen, this is up in the Altiplano area of Bolivia. There are a couple of coots there swimming past again. Hello fellas, good to see you. Okay, they're cute. They're a little bit different. They look exactly the same as the English ones, but they've got slightly yellowy bills. There you go. Well, since the rains this morning, the water seems to have cleared a bit. So I'm just finding a spot, and then I'm using a microphone because of the wind, problems with wind. So I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna dip it in. I think they're getting a bit agitated because I'm in their space. I know it's a boring process, isn't it, watching somebody fill a water bottle. I'll try and edit this out a little bit. Actually, the water's warmed up a little bit since this morning. I did 3 river crossings this morning, so I'm a little bit. Yeah, it's freezing cold, but now dipping my hand in, it's quite warm. I'm tempted to pop down and have a dip because you might have noticed that my forehead is peeling and it's really quite sore. But this is taking a little bit longer. I think one of my criticisms of this system is it should have a double system. It should have a wider neck. somehow that you can just dip it into the water and fill it really quickly. Trying to fill it through this little, it was essentially the same diameter and thread as I don't know, say a Pepsi bottle or a lemonade bottle or Sprite or whatever. It takes an age to fill. And I guess there's some people out there that do adventure sports where this is a real pain in the backside. I know there's been a move from the dromedary type bags, the camelback type bags, to make them wider so that they can be filled much quicker. It'd be a good idea, maybe perhaps if Sawyer did something like that. It just doesn't never fill properly. Okay, I've probably got as much as I'm going to get in there now. So that's it filled. I'm going to put the top back on it. You've got to be careful with these as well, because if you put them down the ground, the bottoms are not particularly wide. So, don't put it in the wrong pocket. Which means that they topple over and you've got to do it all again. There it is. Okay, so that's my dirty bag filled with water, and I'll take it back up to camp now and attach the filter, and then start squeezing it through into. Actually, no, I've already got some fresh water, so I'll probably squeeze it through later when I'm making a brew. So now I'm going to go back up, check my my stove, make sure it's still burning. That little wood stove is really kind of cool. I like it a lot. Now I've got it going. It's still a bugger to light up here in this high altitude, but once you've got it going, it really is cool, and it throws out some heat, boils your water, does everything you want it to do, and you can keep it alight and just keep warm by it. The other thing I think that is, if I was wanting to light a bigger fire, I might be able to use the charcoal from that to blow up the fire without having to pee around with loads of timber, because I already have essentially a pot full of embers. But we'll give that a try maybe. So what time is it? It's coming up to 25 minutes to 5. This time yesterday the rain was coming in, but today that rain seems to have cleared up. There's still quite a few clouds in the sky, but they're not really throwing any rain out, not down here anyway. The main forward operating base was washed out last night, and tents and equipment was blown all over the place, twice actually. One tent took off, the other tent blew down in the middle of the night, and that was containing a lot of the equipment. So they had a pretty rough night dealing with that. In comparison, I had a fairly luxurious night. No disturbances, just got a little bit wet, a little bit cold, but it took an age to get to sleep. I'm just going to cool my forehead a little bit because it's bloody. Oh, God, that's nice. I've had sun cream on, factor 30, but it's not making really any much difference. The problem is that down here, same as in Patagonia last year, the Ionis, what do you call it? God, the name escapes me. The thing that causes a hole in the ozone layer. It's very, very thin here, and because we're so high, the sun doesn't really have to be hot for it to burn you, and any exposed bit of skin gets it. The temperature transition is quite amazing. You go quite quickly from one temperature stream to another, and when it's hot here, it's blazing hot, and when it's cold, it's quite chilly. I'm led to believe that in winter, at night time, it can drop down to minus 25 up here. And looking at some of the structures that the locals live in, you think, wow, how do you cope with those sort of temperatures? It's like being out in Mongolia again, like we were last year, no, the year before. Bitterly, bitterly cold. It gets right into you. But during the day, it's about 12 degrees. I suppose that's much more bearable. But minus 25, that's mad. Oh, do you know, that is so cooling. Oh, Oh, stings a bit. Oh. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. I'll leave it alone now. I'm peeling a little bit on my nose and my ears as well. Oh well, not to worry. Look at this. I'm looking forward to fishing this actually. One of the guys was out, one of the local guys, one of the hunters was out the other day, and on a different river system, much lower down, and he came back with 15 rainbow trout. Looked, I mean, a good sized one as well. And we know that there are trout in here because they've been seen. So at the moment it's a bit murky, and I haven't got my act together properly. But it's on my list to catch some trout and to cook him. But so far, there's no real wood around here as such. It's all shrub wood. It's not. There's no trees here. Not at all. Well, there are some trees, but they kind of grow out of the rocks, and they're very, very gnarly. They're not straight. So, but actually, I need one. I need one to see if I can to get some decent wood from for a start, and perhaps I can rustle up something to cook the trout on. Assuming, of course, that I catch one, but I'm fairly confident I will. Okay, so back up to the basher. Talk to you later.